All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little San Francisco Giant video. I'm starting to get excited about the potential for the Giants in free agency. I'll tell you why coming up next. But first, of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. Check them out. 2 locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in the Bay. Get the brisket chili. Say hi to Damon and Mary. Tell them that Krug sent you. And this video is brought to you by Mojo Fantasy. I'm loving Mojo Fantasy. Check the link in the description. Use the promo code Krug, K-R-U-E-G, and they will match you up to your first $100. All right, interesting story today. The Giants are ready to make a major splash in free agency. There's been a lot of people hinting around about this. John Morosi reports today on Tuesday that the Giants are, quote, set on trying to acquire either two-way phenom Shohei Ohtani or star pitcher Yoshinobu Yamamoto this winter. This is according to John Morosi of the MLB Network. He says they're pursuing both very aggressively. He said the Giants are set. They're devoting their full heart and finances to landing one of either Shohei Ohtani or Yoshinobu Yamamoto in the coming weeks. Now, John Heyman of the New York Post reported Thursday that the Giants were one of several teams expected to be going big for Ohtani this winter. And Heyman previously reported on November 16th that the Giants' home field, Oracle Park, could wind up hurting the Giants' chances of landing Ohtani because it's a big ballpark for left-handed hitters. And according to Heyman, this is what he wrote. He said the Giants should be a big player for two-way superstar Shohei Ohtani, but some who know Ohtani see a possible hurdle for the Giants, and that is their ballpark. While Oracle Park is one of the most beautiful, it's unfriendly to lefty power hitters. Some believe Ohtani isn't in it for the money, but to show he's the best. So ballparks may be a factor. And, there's no question that Ohtani would be a major upgrade for the Giants, and he would sell tickets. He's 29. He's, got his second AL MVP award this year. Hit 304, had a 412 on base, had a 654 slug, 44 home runs, 95 ribeyes, 20 stolen bases in 135 games. Now, he also on the mound was 10-5 with a 3.14, a 1.06 whip, and 167 Ks in 132 innings over 23 starts. This year, he's not going to pitch. He's just going to hit. So he underwent the elbow surgery in September. He's not expected to return to the mound until 2025. Now, Yamamoto's interesting because he is awesome. He's a 25-year-old Japanese pitcher who went 17-6 in Japan for the Oryx Buffaloes in their professional league, the Nippon Professional Baseball League. 1.16 ERA, 176 strikeouts in 171 innings, which you would think might be more dominant than those numbers even indicate. But he had 24 starts. Yamamoto, I think, is going to have a major immediate impact on the mound, and he would upgrade the Giants' rotation. I mean, Logan Webb, Alex Cobb, who else they got? DeSclafani, and they got Harrison, Wisenhunt coming. He would give them a guy who could give them a true ace. The Giants have been in pursuit of a superstar player over the last few seasons, and they've struck out consistently from Stanton to Judge to Harper to Correa. They just always are a bridesmaid, never a bride. And they are trying to become the dominant force that they once were, and landing Ohtani or Yamamoto, according to this report, would be a great first step. All right. So that is the story. I think if you said, okay, interpret the story, what do you think the Giants are going to do? And then what would you do? Okay, first of all, I just think you got to remember who the Giants are. It's an ownership group that took over in 1992. And there has been two distinct successful periods of Giants baseball under this current ownership group. It was 92 till, let's say 2004 or 5 when the thing started to fall apart. And then they were down for a few years. And then it was 2000, the Bochy years, where they won 3 titles. So who were the two stars in the Giants, successful runs there. The first successful run, it was Barry Bonds. The second successful run, the headliner, was Tim Lincecum. I really believe that the Giants ownership in Shohei Ohtani, they see the next Barry Bonds. And in Yoshinobu Yamamoto, they see the next Tim Lincecum. And I don't think they want one or the other. I think they want both. I really do. And I think the one thing we don't know about Ohtani is we don't know what's going into his decision-making process. If he wants to be on a better team, he's going to pick the Dodgers. But from what I heard, he really wants to be on the West Coast. That the Padres, Mariners, A's, they're not in this mix. If he was going to go to the Angels, I think he would have re-signed already. So I really believe it comes down to the Dodgers or the Giants. There's a lot of talk that he wants to kind of create his own path and become the dominant player. And I think with the Giants, he has that opportunity. With the Dodgers, not as much. The Dodgers are going to be a 95-win team and a playoff team, whether they get Ohtani or not. The other thing is like to go to the Dodgers would really be kicking the Angels in the nuts. I mean, it would be like you're going across town and the Angels already have this inferiority complex. It might be very personal. Where if you jump from the Angels to the Giants, it's not as personal. It's not as personal. I really believe, though, the Giants want not just a great player, they want a draw. They want buzz. They want what Barry Bonds gave them. Barry Bonds gave them the superstar player that everybody wanted to come to see. Ohtani would give them that exact same player. He is the draw, more than Stanton, more than Harper, more than Correa, more than Judge. Shohei Ohtani is the ultimate draw. And the fact of the matter is, I also think that the Giants might be able to use Shohei in a creative way in 2025 on the mound. Maybe they don't start him. Maybe they start him 12 starts. Maybe he pitches out of the pen. Maybe he's your closer. Maybe he's your setup man. And then his close relationship with Ichiro, who's got a close relationship with Melvin, his supposedly close relationship with Alex Cobb. I think these all could be factors. I really believe that the Giants are going to sign three big name guys. And I think the three big name guys, if you made me say, pin you down, who are they going to sign? I think they're going to sign Yamamoto, who is very much like Lincecum. First of all, he's very young. And even if you gave him a 9 or 10-year deal, you're talking about signing a 25 player through his age 34 or 35 season. That's not crazy. I mean, the Bellinger talks are that he wants a 12-year deal and he's 28. You want to sign Cody Bellinger through his age 40 season when he's had one good year in the last three? Or would you take a chance on Yamamoto for 8 or 9 or 10 years at 25? So you get age 25 through age 34, 35 for Yamamoto. I think they see Lincecum in Yamamoto. I see Lincecum in Yamamoto. He's got a huge huge wind-up step. He's got a lot of athleticism and electricity in his torque and his body. He throws a high 90s fastball, a killer breaking ball, an unbelievable weirdo slurve curveball, and he's got great command. I think Yamamoto is going to be the talk of baseball. I think he's going to hit the major leagues like a meteor. And I think people are going to be talking about him left and right as maybe the dominant pitcher in the entire league, either NL or AL. I think he's got that kind of potential. When you look at the power arsenal, the multiple of pitches, and the command, I think Yamamoto's a superstar. I think he in 2023 will be what Lincecum was for the Giants in 2008, 9, and 10. Just a superstar anchor win day in your rotation is Yamamoto. And I think if they really do press on Ichiro to impress on these guys, Ichiro's the greatest superstar Japanese player of our lifetime, really. I mean, going back to Sadahara O. And, if Ichiro says, hey, go play for Melvin in San Francisco, and you could get Ohtani and Yamamoto, I think you could make a huge splash. And the third guy that if I were the Giants that I would sign would be Rhys Hoskins. You get Rhys Hoskins, who's a Sacramento kid. Giants are wanting to go with kind of a NorCal push. You get Rhys Hoskins, you put him at first. Now you got Bailey behind the plate, Hoskins at first, Tyro at second, Luciano at short, and you can go with Casey Schmidt and J.D. Davis at third base. If you want to add another couple pieces around on the perimeter, guys like Nick Senzel, who can play second, third, the outfield, he makes sense. Maybe you go for a flyer on Harrison Bader to share center field with Luis Matos. Maybe you take a flyer on a guy like Austin Meadows, who's got vertigo and anxiety, but man, he's really, really intriguing, and maybe a buy low candidate reclamation project for Farhan. To me, you make those signings, maybe add a couple arms in the bullpen. I would love to see them go after some power arms like Jordan Hicks or Shintaro Fuji. Is it Fujiyami? The former Oakland A, Baltimore Oriole, throws over 100 miles an hour with kind of a funky motion. I think he would be a great power reliever. So to me, that you do that, and I think the Giants are good to go to compete. Your rotation would be Logan Webb, Yamamoto, Alex Cobb, maybe halfway through the year, and then you still have other guys there. You still have Harrison, you got Wisenhunt, you got DeSclafani, Sean Jelly, Ross Stripling, Tristan Beck, Kaiwei Tang, Mason Black, Hayden Birdsong. You've got some guys to round out the 5-man. Webb and Yamamoto front your rotation. When Cobb gets healthy, he's your slides in as your number 3. And maybe you go with kids on the back end, Harrison and Wisenhunt. And then in the bullpen, you've got Camilo Doval to close. You got the Rogers brothers, Ryan Walker, Keaton Wynn's nasty, Luke Jackson. And then you get a couple guys like Fujiyami and Hicks maybe added to the mix there. Hicks added to the mix. Now I'm rapping. I think you've got a nice bullpen. You got power arms in your pen leading into Doval. And then around the diamond, Bailey, Hoskins, Estrada, Luciano, and Schmidt, a young left side of the infield. If you get a guy like Senzel, you could play him a little bit at second base. You could move Estrada as your backup to Luciano at shortstop. So you have somebody else besides Luciano who can play short, and Tyler Fitzgerald. You let Ohtani be your full-time DH, and you got an outfield that has, Matos and Harrison Bader and Slater and Conforto and Yaz and Meadows and Elliot Ramos and Wade Meckler and Lamont Wade, and that's probably enough. That's 9 outfielders right there of varying degrees of talent. Some could be at AAA like Ramos and Meckler. Others could be, play all over the place. I mean, I think you've got some versatility there. That to me is a playoff team. That to me is, you've got Ohtani now in the middle of your lineup. You signed Hoskins for some protection. You still have some other guys, but, you get one bat to protect Ohtani for sure. You still got some young players coming up through your system, and Bailey and Schmidt and Luciano and Matos and Ramos that you're, Meckler that you're kind of working up through the system, and a couple of young arms and Harrison and Wisenhunt. To me, that would be the offseason that I would go with. Go get Ohtani. Spend whatever you need to spend. I think they see Barry Bonds and Ohtani. I think they see Tim Lincecum and Yamamoto. Hoskins would really fit along their lines of going with NorCal guys who have some ties to the area. And then, you get a couple of bullpen pieces, a couple of bench pieces, maybe an outfielder to sprinkle in there, not big ticket items, kind of middle ticket items, or even maybe you make trades. I mean, you'd have other guys to move. I mean, you'd have some depth. If you want to move Keaton Wynn in a trade, you could. If you want to move Tristan Beck in a trade, you can. You want to move Joey Bart in a trade, you could do that. You want to move David VR in a trade, you could do that. You want to move an outfielder in a trade, you could potentially do that. So, it would give Farhan flexibility. It would also put the Giants on the map. And, the other thing I would definitely do if I were the Giants is if the difference between getting Ohtani and having him go to the Dodgers is taking the right center triples alley and making it seats there and making your ballpark smaller in right center, then do it. That would be a hot ticket. Could you imagine how cool that would be to sit in that right center gap? Those are great seats. You could potentially put up some great seats in right center and make the ballpark a little smaller. And if that helps you land Shohei Ohtani, then do it. If you don't like the impact that it has on your ballpark after 4 or 5 years, you get rid of it. But to attract him here, if that's what it takes, I would alter right center at Oracle Park to attract Shohei Ohtani. And to me, you could be looking at 2025, a rotation that has Logan Webb, Yamamoto, Ohtani, Kyle Harrison, and Carson Whisenhunt. And now you are running with any team in the National League or the American League. You've got, you've got headliners and players like Ohtani and Yamamoto that fans want to see. Headliners. You got homegrown guys like Luciano and Schmidt and Bailey sprinkled in. You got NorCal guys like J.D. Davis and Rhys Hoskins and Logan Webb that make you more of a regional team, and you get all those people coming down from Sacramento to see those guys. It would be great. To me, that is the plan. I know it would take a ton of money, but it ain't my money, so what the hell? Let's just go spend it. The plan should be Ohtani, Yamamoto, and Hoskins. Those should be the three guys that they go after. Yamamoto gives them a Lincecum and an ace. Ohtani gives them a headliner and a Bonds. And Rhys Hoskins gives them a homegrown power hitter who fits their kind of homegrown or their regional local feel that they're trying to establish as well. That's what I would do. The Giants right now look like they are miles away from contending. But if they could land those three guys and kind of use that as the jump start to the kind of the turnover of some of their 25-man roster, they're not that far away. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Mojo Fantasy for sponsoring this video. Check that link in the description and use that promo code Krug at Mojo Fantasy. And thanks to all you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.